Welcome to Two Gents, where two seasoned gents take on the hard truths of life, success, and responsibility. In a world where the rules don't bend for us, these gents believe in doing the work, owning the struggle, and inspiring others to take action. So, pull up a chair.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Two Gents Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ron Spikes. Pastor A.F. Riggins is out there. I'm looking at him. Must be cold over there where he's at. Looks like he has on the coat and everything. I ain't never, Pastor, let me see. I got to look into the screen because I ain't never seen you without a suit.
It's a warm-up suit.
Okay, all right, I'm with that. Hey, I want to welcome y'all in. I'm just looking at Pastor in a new way because I've never seen him like this. So I just want to tell y'all, shoes, it's amazing, man. Pastor, I seen you from a different perspective Sunday. I have to say.
What did you say?
I seen you from a different perspective Sunday, and I have to say I liked it. I was sitting back, doing a little shouting in my chair and rocking a little bit too. So I just want to tell you,
every Sunday morning we do it like that. It's worth the drive.
It is, especially it is. I'm one of these Sunday mornings. I'm gonna surprise you and pull up over there, and you're gonna see me. You're gonna say, "Wow, Ron came."
Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, I know it's a lot of y'all out there without the weather. I'm gonna let Pastor Riggins come in, and then I'm gonna go into a little bit of a spiel. And I want to say, Byron Glass is still out of power in Louisiana. He asked him this morning, and he told me last night that he was out of power. So I want y'all to pray for him, and hopefully he gets his power back on soon. It's cold out there, but he said he got a fireplace. So, Pastor Riggins, I'm going to bring you in and let you introduce yourself and do your thing, and then we're going to get into the subject matter at hand.
Yes, sir. We're glad to be on. I'm A.F. Riggins, A.F. Riggins Ministries. We've been together with Ron and Barron since 2015 with Blog Talk USA, and now we're Two Gents in the mic. And tonight we're going to be talking about the importance of trying to impeach Trump, I believe. Am I right?
Yes, it's all included. It's inclusive of it. But I think that
I'd ask you to. I sent some things to you last week. I think you're going to better run some of that for me. So I sent you. We're in some terrible times right now.
We are.
Even that Republicans are beginning to. Can you believe Governor Abbott said, "Hey, we need to put a stop to what's going on in Minnesota." Governor Abbott, and Trump is trying to model his administration after Abbott because Abbott has no term limits.
Mm-hmm.
And Abbott says you need to slow down. Noam today began to point the fingers at Stephen Miller. I said, I'm only doing under the direction of Stephen Miller and the president because this stuff is dangerous. But I was just reading a post tonight that some of the moderate Republicans are trying to get with the Democrats to try to come up with impeachment by March 31st. The only problem is I think they're pulling the lever too quick. Wait until after the 2026 elections, midterms. Because Ted Cruz has even told Trump, we're going to lose the House, we're going to lose the Senate, and they're going to impeach you. Ted Cruz told him. Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead. Let's talk tonight.
You know, Pastor, I was listening to some people talking, and it was brought to my attention that people think that when you impeach somebody, and I'm gonna tell you how far away they are. When you impeach somebody, that they get a chance to vote on the impeachment. And another part of that, Pastor, that kind of threw me off was they didn't think that primary voting was important. They don't. I was so confused. I just said, how can we get here? You must not realize the power of your vote. You're voting for representation. For that person to go up there and impeach Trump, you don't get a say-so in it. You get a representative that you vote in the office to go up there and represent your thoughts, your opinions, and everything else. But if you ain't gonna turn out for the primaries,
well, the primary is set up the general election. If you can't turn off the primary, how do you know you're gonna turn out for the general election? And you don't turn out for a primary, who will get your candidate on the ballot for the general election.
Yeah, because you have runoffs between those candidates in the same party, and you're trying to get the best one that represents you. But if you don't show up and you don't vote, you don't get representation. Then you wonder how come you're sitting at home and you got conversations in the barber shop or in the beauty shop or in the church or in your when you're talking to your relatives, when you're talking to other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine and dandy. But if you yourself didn't get out and vote, and I know that people say, well, I'm tired of hearing y'all talking about voting. I get out and vote. Well, get somebody else out to vote. Take people to the polls and help them understand the voting process. Because what's happening is that we're getting so far away from where we should be that we may not be able to impeach Trump because we don't have representation.
Yes, sir. I mean, this is some dangerous stuff that we're dealing with. But like Barron says, if we don't get down to the 2026 election and do what we got to do now, it's going to be over with. It's going to be over with.
And that's the reason why we put emphasis on this. I don't know how to better put this than to say this.
Mm-hmm.
If you can go out and you can go out to the liquor store and you know that you got your money on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and you go to the liquor store, you can go buy lottery tickets, you can go do all the rest of that stuff. You can hang out with your buddies, you can make parties, you can make different arrangements in your life. But you mean to tell me when you voting
Mm-hmm.
that you're not going to attend? Especially local elections. I know I got Jasmine Crockett up behind me, but it's local elections too.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lady running for mayor in Tyler, Texas. We got Montreal Peterson running for county clerk in
Mm-hmm.
Fort Bend. They've been on this radio. If those type of people that you see that will take their time to come and represent you and show themselves and show their face, I ain't saying Jasmine did it, but
Mm-hmm.
you understand how important her election is because
Right.
if we don't get the local people in place and the national people in place,
Mm-hmm.
this is a whole different picture here. And I
Yeah.
don't care how we paint it or how we go about saying it. And then I seen that picture, Pastor. I shared it in the email
Mm-hmm.
of a local election between the two people that's trying to take Sheila Jackson's old seat. The one
Yeah.
that Sheila Jackson passed away, and then Sylvester Turner was left in. Those type
Yeah.
of
Well,
elections,
those what's his name?
I get
Chris.
it.
Chris. There was Christopher
Menifee
Menifee. Yeah, and
and
her.
Amanda
They had
Edwards.
to, they had to do a lawsuit because of the weather to
Yeah,
extend early voting.
yeah, and they had to do a lawsuit. But Pastor, look at the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph Cooper is a local sports representative here in the Houston area. He's been on the air. I know before I was probably before I was born doing sports, but he's a local sports announcer from
Right.
KCOH,
Mm-hmm.
KYOK, and all of those. He's been around for a while. But
Yes,
when
sir.
you look at the numbers, you got 417 registered voters in District 18, but less than 11,000 of them participated in the vote.
No, how many? No, how many? No, you said 417. What you trying to say? 417,000?
There are over 417,000 registered voters in the U.S.
Okay.
Congressional
Okay,
District
right. You said
18, but less than
417,000
11,000 of them
voters.
participated in early voting.
Wow.
What does that tell you?
Yeah. See, two things that happens. This is what Trump said he liked the very uneducated. Remember the first thing you start out with, people didn't understand that how impeachment worked and about the primaries. Ignorance works to the favor of those that's trying to control. Ignorance work, but what people don't know, they don't want them to know, so they don't know how they can be involved and how they can make change happen. Second thing, apathy. What you talking about here is apathy. People not want to be involved, thinking, okay, my vote don't count. I just stay home. And so we get 11,000 people to vote out of 417,000. It don't take much for somebody to win.
It don't.
But in the same time, if only 11,000 people vote now, or maybe say again on voting day they get another 10,000, so 21,000. out of 417. When it's come down for November, we need more than 21,000 Democrats trying to vote against somebody Republican.
And that's a telltale because what it's saying is only 11,000 people gave a hoot, so to speak, about voting.
But do you know
And
also though, that this whole district changes for the November election too because of
yeah,
that?
so it's a short voting term. It's going to turn around and it's going to be another cycle where you have to vote for the incumbent and probably these same people that's in there. But if
No,
we
they took the district try to make some Republican. They try to make it more Republican. They're hoping that district can turn a Republican. So you're going to fight for whoever a primary for whatever Democrat's going to come out of that, and a Republican for that district because these be most of the Democratic district. They're going to have to fight for it to remain a Democratic district.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that, Pastor, and that's the reason why I was saying. And this is just on the runoff for the Democratic side. In order to have representation during the main election, I guarantee you, as we always say, they're gonna be out voting in force because they know that they don't want them to get the House or the Senate. So if you got two Democratic candidates out there, and that's the best that you can do, and I get tired of the excuses, Pastor. I get tired of them saying I'm not going to vote. My voice don't make a difference. Yes. Sometimes the vote is won in especially tied elections in 50 or less votes.
Yeah.
In the last election. So when you do this, you basically you basically defeating your purpose.
Right.
Pastor, I don't want nobody coming up to me talking about they I don't want to vote. I don't see the difference in voting. They want to participate in.
It's freezing, Ron. You're freezing. The internet is freezing. Okay, guys. As we continue, we're still live. Ron's feed from his side is freezing. If anybody's out there and you want to make some comments, please send some comments in. I don't know, Ron will be able to post them because his side is freezing. Also, you can maybe call into the show. We hope that we can clear up the technical difficulties in a couple of minutes. But I have Ron freezing on my side, even though I am still here. But Ron is gone now. Ron has left the show. Elvis has left the building. He'll come back in. Good thing that the YouTube is still running live on the stream, but his live stream is gone on his side. People up in Minnesota, it's really been a sad situation. For this registered nurse, an ER Veterans Affairs nurse, who was using a cell phone to intervene with the ice in the streets, harassing a woman, to actually get shot 10 times. 3 in the back, a couple in the chest, 1 in his neck. When the cell phone, when the gun that he was registered to carry was already taken off his body. It's unrealistic, unbelievable what's happening these days. 2 Gents and the mic is on. The mic is the only one here. Bearing Glass in Louisiana actually doesn't have electricity. Look like Ron got knocked off, and Ron, I held the show for you till you got back, man.
I can tell. I see you up there. I said, look at Pastor. I was trying to get back in. My computer rebooted. Pastor, I think it's something going on with him.
Yeah, oh yeah, they be listening. Remember that time they kept knocking me out? Big brother. They use AI. I think they use AI to watch and listen to us.
It's keywords that they hear.
I'll let somebody know a few minutes ago. The show is folksy, is down to earth. I was eating some of my little Cinnabites and drinking my little juice and stuff. We down to earth. We down to earth people trying to. I dress up in suits and Bear do too, but we're down to earth. Want every common person, everybody that's no matter what background you are, what status you are in life, to be part of this show. And so I came on finishing my dessert tonight, Ron, You know.
You know, a lot of people. I think a lot of people take it for granted that we're important people within the community. We ain't important. We're
Yeah.
no. We're coming on here to voicing our opinions, trying to get you not educated, but trying to get you to make better decisions when you go out to vote. Trying to get you to understand how important your vote counts. It counts. That
Yes.
you have to get up and you have to stand up. You have to be deliberate in what you're doing. Your message can't be delivered by your mouth. It has to be delivered by the actions that you're taking. So I hope that everybody's out there understanding that we're not trying to influence your vote. We're just trying to get you to get out and vote. If you have an opinion, don't just express it in the shop. Express
Yeah.
it not. I always say barbershops because that's where most of the political conversations take place.
Yeah, we're not trying
So
to impress, we're trying to press. We're not trying
yeah.
to impress, we're trying to press you, push you, motivate you to get something done and to get involved. You have any comments or out there tonight, Ron, or you want to throw up the phone number?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up the telephone number, Pastor. I got a PowerPoint presentation I'm gonna put up
Go
because
ahead, put it up, man, because I
I
know
am
I sent you some things that
I got a PowerPoint presentation. I'm gonna try to go in my phone and find the stuff that you sent and bring it up to the air. I just since we went off the air, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. The power and the impact of voting. I
yes, sir.
just want us to kind of touch every base because I think that sometimes we miss stuff, and when we miss stuff, people get lost out there. So I kind of did a little bit of research and I threw it all together and had it summarized. Let me get these comments down because it'll come up on the air anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
it's up. There you go. You know, and the first reason that Pastor I want to cover is why voting empowers you. I mean, just running your mouth doesn't do anything. Just sitting out there saying, "Oh, I don't like this person. I don't like what she did. I don't like what that person did." That's how we end up in this Trump era. And Pastor, I'm gonna get into this real quick. Golly, trying to find my buttons. Here you go. Why voting counts. Voting removes the barrier. Early voting removes the barriers. That means that if you have any type of mistakes where you can't get out to the poll and your car break, your sister had a baby, and all the rest of that, if you get out early, you have a chance to get your vote in time where it's gonna always be counted. Pastor, did you want to add something to that?
Yes,
Because
so let me tell you about early voting. For instance, if you're mobile, means that you moved in the last year or so, like myself, and your driver's license might have the old address on it. By you doing early voting, nobody can make you go to a certain precinct. You vote anywhere in the city, in that county. Anywhere in that county, you can go vote. But if you wait until the voting day, you didn't have to go to the exact polling place where that address is on that driver's license and go vote. So you want to be able to do early voting so you can vote whatever's convenient to on the way to work, on the way to church, whatever's convenient to you. And also if you had a change of address on a voter's roll, whatever your driver's license is, what the address is going to be, but you can vote anywhere in the county with early voting. That's important. In Louisiana, anywhere in the parish, I believe. They have
yeah,
parishes.
and that's you have to take advantage of that small time frame that they give you, and it gives you multiple days to go vote. It just don't it doesn't evolve down to one day, and then when you get to that one day, you say, "Oh, I couldn't make it because everything else fell apart." No,
Right.
take advantage of the early voting. If you can't do it the first day, make arrangements to do the second day or whatever date that they have set out there. Make sure that you get out and vote, and make sure that you can have that little badge that say I voted, because that's the representation. Your mouth and even us running our mouth on here, that's not representation to change anything. That's basically trying to encourage people to get out and vote. So I'm a big proponent of that early voting.
Yes, sir.
Support a lot. Go ahead, Pastor.
No, sir. I'm agreeing with you. I said, yes, sir.
Go ahead. Can you see the next one, Pastor? Or you want
Board
me?
aligned leaders and policies. Man, look here, Bron. We all getting old, man. You got that small writing.
All right.
Voting with
We're
your
gonna we're
back,
gonna do it from the big stage then.
voting lets you back leaders matching your values, shape policies, and highlight key issues that affect your life. In other words, when you vote, you're voting your best interests.
Mm-hmm.
Most people's best interest is economic, but sometimes economic is not all your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best interest for you culturally? What about racially? What about what they can provide for your community, for education for your students, for your children? What about if someone's trying to strip your rights away from you, such as voting rights or rights to have free and equal employment, which they call DEI, or
Mm-hmm.
rights to have in your neighborhood that they cannot come and try to take land away from you, or calling it, eminent domain and things like that. What about who you vote for? Do they represent the values of what you believe as a person? Or so that's why voting is very important. As someone, we're not a democracy; we are a republic. Don't get afraid. What I mean is, a true democracy is this: everybody would have to vote every day on everything that's made in these United States. The Greeks had a democracy, but then they said we can't do this every day. So the Greeks did, they elected senators to represent them and turn it into a republic. And so the United States picked up that same concept. We have what you call a republic. We elect 435 congressmen and 100 senators to represent us, and we elect a president and that to carry out what they decide and vote and make it to law. The only
Mm-hmm.
problem in the United States right now is the president don't want to carry out the law. He wants to make the laws and break the laws.
Yeah.
I taught history for 20 some years. The Congress makes the laws. The administration or the executive, which is the president, enforces the laws. From the president all the way down to the military, down to the policeman on your street. The judicial interprets the laws. That's the Supreme Court all the way down to the local court. The problem we have now is the Trump executive orders are trying to make laws and make Congress turn around and back up the law that he's made, and then have the Supreme Court to say, listen, we can take what is lawless and make it like it's right.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants all the power. He wants to be a king. And there is no kings in the United States. We are a republic, which means we're a representative democracy. Like Ron said earlier, you voted on people to represent you to make decisions for you.
See, it's no thing as you going out there directly impeaching Trump. They're not going to bring it before a general election. They're not going to do all of that. And if you think that they are, you're wrong. That's the reason why you vote your representation. People that feel like you, people that have they align with you, like what you feel. If you want Trump out of office, you need to vote somebody in that's willing to stand up, almost like Al Green did. You know, he stood up he was standing up there by himself, but nobody wanted to vote with him.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to vote with him. He carried that load on his own. Now we almost a year into Trump's cycle, and everybody wants this man out. On the Democratic side and the Republican side. The Republicans, like Pastor said earlier, they know that they can't win the midterm elections this time if Trump is still sitting in office. But they doesn't mean that they're gonna change. A leopard don't change his spots. But if you vote in leaders, and it's almost like Montreal that came on this past week, and I want to try to relate it back to people where they can understand, Pastor. When Montreal came on this week, she's running in Fort Bend.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's going to affect you local. That national is going to affect you, but closer to home, it's going to affect you here. It's going to affect your everyday life.
All politics are local.
Yeah.
You see what Barron does? Barron is part of a bunch of committees.
Yes.
That are locally, did he go all the way up to Baton Rouge to the state of Louisiana? I always tell the story about when my water bill became $780-something when I was living in Cyprus. And sent me down to the Southwest Freeway to go meet with the Mud District. I walked into a room with a bunch of Anglo-Americans. I was the only African-American in the room.
Mm-hmm.
They were making all the decisions on a local level that affected all the HOAs in the whole areas.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in there and I said, listen, my water bill, I believe the pipe busted on y'all side of the street, on y'all side, not on my side of the water bill. They look at it and they couldn't believe it. I walked in with a suit on, you know how I represent. They couldn't believe I was standing there and couldn't tell myself what I was doing. So that one guy that was supposed to be the one that's supposed to be the meter over all the meter reading, he began to try to the hem haw and try to say all kind of stuff. I stood my ground until they finally said, "Okay, Mr. Riggins, it's our fault. We're gonna pay the bill. We're gonna deduct the bill." But what I found out was they said what I wanted to hear. 3 months later, that thing showed back up on that bill as if they did their investigation and rejected it, which meant over the next 3 months, they met again and brought that back on their agenda and said, we're going to take this bill, we're going to charge this man $780.
Wow.
I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't get what I wanted out of it, but I saw the process. I said, we don't have us in that room. We didn't have us in that room. That the attorneys for them in the room, that the board chairman, that all kind of people in that room, about 12, 15 of them in that room. Not one of us was in that room.
In order to make change, and Byron told me this a long time ago, and that's the reason why I support my brother, because what he says, it makes a lot of sense. And you're gonna hear me and Pastor Riggins refer back to Byron because he is an elected local official in his parish. So I want to say this. Pastor Riggins made a very strong point. If you go in there and nobody looks like you, how do you expect to get representation?
Yeah.
How do you expect the room? I'm not saying that they ain't gonna be fair, because sometimes in some situations you can go in that room and get the representation that just by being yourself and how you carry yourself.
Right.
But I sure would like to walk into a room and see somebody that look like me, that understands the rules and can also convince other people to join in and say, hey, maybe we got this wrong. Maybe we need to pursue this just a little bit further. Pastor, I understand what you're saying, but I hope that what we're doing tonight by breaking this down, where the normal person can understand it, even if you go back and listen to it in the archives, at least you understand the reason why we come on this podcast and the reason why we invest our time. And we may be talking about a vote every week up until the election. But I'm going to try to get guests in. We're going to try to do something different. But the key component of everything that we're talking about or that we bring up, Pastor, is about the election.
Yes, sir. Because that's all we got left right now.
All
we have left is the midterms. That's all we have left. If we don't succeed in the midterms, like Barron say, we're done.
Or like Pastor Regan said, if we don't put the step on the what is it, Pastor?
And put the metal to the pedal.
Yeah, you basically, that's where we at right now. We're there.
Metal to the metal, whatever way it is.
Yeah, we're there. Yeah, and don't let up until after all of this stuff is over with, and then don't sit down and rest.
It's like you're on 16. You ever been on 16 on a Saturday night when they're racing them cars?
Yeah.
I was on there one time, 2019, coming from the Family Union, Louisiana. I was pulling 4 horses in a trailer, doing about 60 miles per hour. And all them cars was passing, doing 100-something miles per hour. Zoom, zoom, zoom over 30 minutes. I was caught in 16. I said, oh, because it's a loop. It's a whole loop. So they were racing like they're racing on it. They were racing the whole loop of 16 like they're racing at a racetrack somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Camaros, and Mustangs, and Hondas, and Mercedes, and BMW. They was coming in packs and groups. I said, over 100 cars racing that night. What do you mean, Pastor? That's how you need to put it. We need to put it on Trump. We don't let off until we race him. We race this administration out here. Don't let up. It's like you driving through the city. Don't do this in real life. But you ever come to a traffic light in Houston? Look behind you and see if somebody behind you. Because if they behind you, you better run through that yellow to that red, because they're going to rear end you. Because they got the pedal to the metal. And they mean to come to that light.
I tell you, I agree with you, Pastor.
We mean not to stop until we move in November elections, midterm elections.
Absolutely. You gotta create a personal connection to the real issues. Like Pastor was saying, saying he had their water bill. You got to create a personal issue, a real issue that affects you, not just affecting somebody else. You can't see it as somebody else's problem. You have to identify with you, especially in local decisions where they're made. You have to identify with that, and that lets you know that if water bill, electric bill, potholes in your roads, schools, rent, police reform, parks, trash, your neighbor across the street making too much noise or whatever. You at least want to be a part of that, and that's a real issue. And Pastor, I can identify with that because sometimes I would be coming home from my brother's house on a Saturday. We done had a good meal. It's a holiday or something like that, and I'm just riding down the road. All of a sudden, I hear these cars coming to me. Vroom, vroom. They just getting on the gas. I know I'm in a sports car, but I'm an old man. I ain't trying to get out there and impress nobody. I'm just rolling. And they act like you out there to race because it's dark. No. I just like my car, and I like the highway and just enjoy myself while I can. And Pastor, you're absolutely right. So, Pastor, if you want to comment on this, come on in, because
let's read. Let's
some
read
comments
this
about.
Let me read it about them. Make it a little bit bigger for me. Become no man. I'm gonna have to get some readers.
Okay, let me try to go here. Let's see if you can see it.
I think we've already read this before, right? Your voice.
No, this is the next one. It's connected personal to real issues.
Handling potholes, schools, rent, police reform, parks, trash directly impacting your community quality. Houston had the biggest problem with potholes. The whole time Sylvester Turner was in office, he was always promising he's gonna fix the potholes.
Mm-hmm.
That's me to another connection, personal story. I had a 2006 Dodge Pacifica, nice car, the kind where your kids can watch the movies in the back seat on the back door. I remember going to Disney World one time, and it was like was going through Mississippi 11 o'clock at night, and the police pulled us over, thinking that I was trying to watch a video while I was driving. And lo and behold, we recognized it was the kids watching the video in the back seat. That kind of car. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving home from work in A-Leaf in 2009 and hit a pothole that broke my differential on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Differential shaft. Had to put it in the shop. I put it in the shop. The guys fixed it, but forgot to put the transmission fluid back in it. And didn't tell me about it. Because I got out a couple of weeks later, was going out to feed my horses and Pearland at the time, driving that car with no transmission fluid. That car caught on fire on 288. Excuse me, right by Reed Road. Caught on fire.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Caught on fire by Reed Road. And police, ambulance, fire trucks, everybody come out there. But it all started with my car had to be repaired because I had a pothole 3 weeks before then that broke the differential shaft. I put it to mechanic shop. I think mechanic gonna do whatever they need to do. I didn't know that actual mechanic, hey, did you put the transmission fluid back in there when you fix the differential shaft? All politics is local. You want people to go in to fix the potholes. Excuse me, you want people that's gonna make sure the fire station is running. We'll make sure our schools are being treated right. We'll make sure that the HOAs is not gonna be jacking up the rent on you. The police are gonna be there to make sure they're doing what's right. All local decisions is by voting. Sylvester Turner came in later, said, I'm trying to fix the potholes, fix the potholes. Now, what's his name? John, what's his name? The mayor of Houston.
Whitmire.
John Whitmire.
John Whitmire.
He's trying to fix potholes. He's trying to clean up the ditches. He's trying to help the homeless. Because why? They know that that's important things. Not about how much money you can raise, how much glam you can have, how many balls you can have, Trump in the ballroom while destroying half of the White House because it represented the women of the first ladies. It's not about dancing about the Kennedy Center being the culture center called Trump Center and nobody wanting to play in it no more. It's about helping folk out at the point of their need.
Mm-hmm.
My voice like I'm trying to preach a sermon. But I'm just saying, all politics are
I hear
local.
you. All politics are local, and that's the same. And there should have been one more thing added to that list that's up there right now, and it should have been taxes. Because if you have a problem with your taxes, you can go down there and dispute them in your home and everything. You can do all of that. But if Montreal was one of those people that's her position to find out in titles and deeds and stuff. She brought that up. So we're gonna slide on to the next slide and we're gonna get through this. Baron, I hope you're warm out there, man. I'm thinking about you. I got you on my mind, Pastor. Keep bringing it up. And I'd have been there. I'd have been there in Houston. And it's cold when you ain't got no power.
Man,
It's
I've been there
cold.
where Barron is. Barron's in Columbia, Louisiana, 30 minutes away from where I went to college in Monroe, Louisiana. And my friends, when this kind of weather we got comes down to us, it snows and ice in Monroe, Louisiana. It's close to Natchez, Mississippi, not far from about an hour or so. It snows and ice in that part of the country. I've had some snowstorms. I've had some ice storm. When I was going to college with Barrett. Me and I went to school together for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Cold out there. It's cold out there. I mean, thinking about Bobby Blue Band. When it's cold outside. Come on. You think you're lonely.
Hey, Pastor. My cousin sent me a picture this past week when it first happened. When the snow was out, he's from Baltimore, and he was up in his driveway with a snow shovel. So I guess so they could get out. And I had a flashback from when I used to be in Germany. I said, "Oh no, that's when I came home.
Man,
I came home to get away from it."
My brother lived in Indiana for a while and was getting his master's in divinity. He said, "Man, when that snow comes, you have to shovel that snow. Some people have to get heart attacks when shoveling that snow."
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't. People take it for granted, but that's another. That'll make you come down south.
Yes, sir. But guess what? If you live up there, you voting on making sure that you have the right type of access to the runoff for the snow not to pile up.
The snow.
You
got representation that not only. I was going to say, not only are they cleaning up across the tracks, but they're coming on this side of the tracks to clean up too. If you don't have representation on your side of the tracks, your side might just stay like it is. Y'all might have to have a community group get out there.
Let me tell you
something. Without proper representation, that's the reason why voting is so important.
Let me tell you something. If you drive down on the way to my church in City Gas,
I know.
and take it back off of Wayside, East Houston, go down to Atwater, and train tracks out there.
Mm-hmm.
You say, who represent these people? If you go to Fifth Ward, Liberty Road, take a drive down there to a dead end. You can make a movie out there of gangsters and stuff just by the scenery of the dead. It's like Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Those the train tracks, the trains out there, nobody not moving. You can make an actual movie out there, and people living who representing those people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
South Park, Sunnyside, Shadydale area, some other areas like that. Who representing those people? Some parts of Acre Home where trash is everywhere inside the ditches and stuff. Still haven't pick up some of the trees from the hurricane that came. Who representing those people?
Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why we sit here and we try to explain the importance of voting and the importance of voting for representation like yourself. And most people say, well, every time I come on their podcast, that's all they want to talk about. That should be the number. We're going to talk. Don't vote when you.
Your computer got you going and out, Ron.
and I wish I could say it in a different language. I wish I could, whatever language it takes to translate that. And Pastor, I played that video where people out there dancing, hooping, and hollering on the trail ride, doing all that stuff. And I asked the question, how many of them are registered voters?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I want to ask myself, even then when I walk in the barber shop and the topic is politics. I want to ask myself, did you vote? Do you vote? Have you vote? Well, you don't. What? Well, they always make excuses. The ones that actually own up to it. I didn't vote because I didn't have proper representation. Well,
early voting on Sunday is important too. Because you go to these mega churches, how many souls can we get to the polls? Back in the day, it was called Souls to the Poll. You go there dressed up with your nice hat, women. The guys have their suits on with the striped ties, the little top hat. The preacher preaches, the choir sings, then they all go down and go vote. Souls to the poll. How many people?
I'm gonna say it like, come on, Pastor. I'm gonna use Byron Glass word. Come on, Pastor. You almost got there.
You're right. Yeah, because he act like he in church when he does that. Yeah. Souls to the poll.
Come on, Riggins. Get it in, Riggins.
Yeah.
But
there's a pastor we preached for in Austin one time. Go ahead, Riggins. Go ahead, Riggins. Hey, everybody got their way to express themselves. But I'm just saying, souls to the poll. We've got to get more people that's going to be registered to vote and going to go vote. Vote early. I can't say vote often because you only got one vote. But vote early. But every time it's time to vote, vote again. I'm talking about, was it a primary, was it runoff, another runoff, general election, vote.
Because it all counts. And most of all, Pastor, I want them to age kids. Get them
Run
to the poll.
Your computer's taking out your voice. Or we're getting like parts of your words.
Okay.
And you froze again.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know what's going on my end. AT&T has their way of doing it, and then we know about them. They come to them people will come to get you.
When I finally moved, I had AT&T since 2002, and they would give me the blues. I'm talking about money-wise. I'm talking about all the different outages, how long it takes for the outages to come back up for your internet, your TV, all that kind of stuff. Then they don't want to give you a refund or discount. They gave me a blues. When I finally moved, Xfinity is my friend. I'm not going to go commercial.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that because it's all a part of what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah.
It's all a part of what we're talking about tonight. Infinitive.
Xfinity.
To operate within the system. So, real example. I'm gonna take this one. Every vote counts, even in close races. Real examples of narrow wins. Local races often hinge on, listen to what I'm about to say, 10 to 100 votes or fewer. Like the school board decided by just 5, proving one ballot makes a difference. That means that if you vote, that vote, if you sit home and don't vote, and then your person lose, and you get first thing you get up and you want to run out there and talk about why they lost. Look in the mirror.
Yeah. If you don't vote,
exercise your voice, but you didn't exercise your vote.
Don't vote. Don't complain.
Yeah, you're not exercising Yeah, don't complain. Don't argue. Don't. I just didn't see nobody that looked like me. I didn't.
Say don't boo.
Have to look like you to represent
don't boo. Vote. Go vote. He said, "Don't be out here booing in the crowd. Go vote." Like he's saying something against Trump or saying something against Republican, and everybody want to help him out. Boo!
Yeah,
He said, no, 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 don't boo. Go vote.
that was a good one. I had forgot about that one, but I'm glad you brought it up, Pastor, because that's what we need to do. Stop booing and go vote. Go vote. So I'm gonna bring up this next slide. We're gonna slide right. Strategies to boost participation. We already talked about early vote. And say that I wasn't able to help last time. That what was they drove the van, drove folks on to get people out to vote. That counts too. If you go out and vote and you feel like you got a little bit more energy and it's worth your time and worth your effort and you see it, and you go out there and drive somebody to the polls, or pick up somebody, go by and get your cousin that's sitting on the corner or something like.
Mm. Hey, Ron, your computer is doing this thing again. So, ladies and
The
gentlemen,
I think this is probably StreamYard, because I done lost pasture and everything on this one. But
I'm on here.
again,
I'm on
go
here.
out and vote.
Here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
your picture went away, but yeah, I see you. But go out and vote. Put some effort into it. So it says early options, support services, share early voting sites, mail-in deadlines, and ride shares to remove obstacles to simplify the process. What they basically saying is the same thing I just got through. If you feel like you did your all and you got a little bit of extra time, take some extra people to the polls and get them out to vote. The next one is turn it into a fun event. Invite friends to vote together. Then grab making participation in social convenient and enjoyable. Make it sociable and convenient and enjoyable. You whatever it takes to get people out to vote. A group of your friends that are always running their mouth talking about I don't like this, I don't like that. Well, get them registered first, because you'll be taking the poll and they not registered, and that ain't gonna help. So make sure that they register voters and get them out there. And it's hard. It's a little bit harder than what it used to be, but come on, Pastor.
Usually, what's happening sometimes you get your driver's license or you go be a juror or something like that. Well, depending on what neighborhood you live in. I live in a neighborhood in Cyprus where they believe most of the neighborhood was Republican. I used to get my voting card in the mail. Other districts, other counties, other precincts, rather, like 18th district, other districts, those people actually have to go and find somewhere to go register to vote. Nobody not sending them your voting card in the mail. And the quietest thing kept is the deadline to register to vote. If we keep that quiet, then they don't get registered. And then they come to vote, they'll say, you're not on the ballot. We don't find you in here. We'll give you provisional vote. They never count those provisional votes. You just went to exercise the right to vote in vain because you didn't register to vote. But you didn't know when the deadline to register to vote because they keep that quiet. While somebody like me, when I used to do that, I'm getting my voter registration card in the mail. Think about it.
Yeah, and you know what, Pastor? We got Fred Burton out there listening. He gave us a thumbs up. Fred Burton, if I remember correctly, was one of Simpson's old buddies that used to come on the radio at one time. So from down in Brazoria County. So Fred, I want to thank you and thank you for listening in. I want to recognize you. I haven't, since we've been trying to strain our eyes to read this thing, I haven't had the comments up in beta form because it takes up a spot, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Harness positive peer pressure. If you're getting that peer pressure, go out there and put it on them. I mean, tell them, hey man, don't just sit here and talk. Don't just sit here and run your mouth. And especially when you're at family functions. I know you ain't supposed to talk about it, but ask them. So you out here spreading all this stuff. Have you voted?
Yeah.
Have you voted? When the last time you voted? Ask them. I ain't
That's their
say fight with them. I ain't say pull no gun on them. I ain't say do all of that. I just say ask them. I don't like the way they doing it. They up in the office, they doing this and they doing that, and this is going on. You see how they treat those people out there in the streets. You see how that guy got shot and all the rest of that. What have you did to change it? Have you asked? Have you voted? Have you voted? Probably haven't.
Let me tell you what,
I'm
man.
not. I'm gonna tell you. I watch the news and I look at it and I say, you know what? It's a lot of stuff going on, but if I don't vote, my voice is irrelevant.
That's
You
right.
can watch all the news media. You can be the smartest person in the world. You can know what's going on in China, but it don't do anything unless you vote, Pastor.
That's right. Let me tell you
So
what, man. The biggest trick that's against us is that people take for granted that we have to vote to make change. That's the tool we have. That's the instrument we have. That's the smoking gun we have. Is to pull the lever and make a change. We're in January, and May will be upon us in a split second, and before you know it, November. And if we do not vote in mass and vote intentionally and vote to make something happen, we will not be a democracy, I believe, by the time the election comes around in 2028.
Because the only way that he stays out of jail is that he's got to change this democracy and rewrite the amendments to support himself and put people in office to support him. And it might be some more people that step down, but we need to realize how important it is. Somebody brought up something to me the other day about people taking responsibility in action. I can't think of who that judge was. It was a female pastor that they begged to step down during the time that Biden was in office and during the time that Clinton was in office. But right before. So it must have been Biden. It must have been golly, what's his name? I can't. Barack. Barack then was begging her to step down, and she chose to hold on and hold on and hold on. And then when Trump got in office, he got the chance to appoint that seat. And if she would just step down, she was already. Oh, anyway, I'm gonna say it's voting and it's participation and it's knowing when to step down when your vote doesn't count. Pastor, I'm gonna ask you to read this next one.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. I might have to blow it up again.
Okay. Others decide for non-voters. Others decide for non-voters. When you don't vote, somebody will make a decision for you.
And I'm
Absolutely.
gonna say you can't. Go ahead. I'm
Abstaining
sorry.
abstaining from vote lets landlords, lobbyists, or extremists dominate the low turnout areas, for power service, get power service and representation. In other words, when you don't go vote, people who actually want to use the voting apparatus for their own good, most of them are power hungry and greedy, landlords, lobbyists, extremists. They'll see that so many votes were left on the table. They're going after those people not to get them to vote, but to get them involved and try to destroy America.
And when you hear us talking, we relate to Houston. And that's the reason why I like when we have Byron Glass, when we have on other people from other areas, because they can relate it back to their areas. And believe me, the conversation is the same across the country, or it doesn't matter where you at. The conversation is the same, that we need to get people out to vote. I think, if I'm correct, Fred, if you're out there, let me know, and I'm gonna send you a link, and I'm gonna try to get you on, because I think Fred ran for office. Fred is in the office too down in Brazoria County, if I'm right, or he was sitting in the office or something like that at one time. So he understands exactly what's going on. I appreciate you listening in. We're gonna go to the next one, and Pastor, I want them to understand something. We can get on here and hoop and holler like Stephen A. Smith all day long, But if hooping and hollering and you ain't doing nothing but spreading lies and not knowing what you're talking about, that ain't doing no good. We're trying to break it down for our listeners where they can understand and they can go back to their kids and kind of explain to them in a way where they can talk to them or they can talk to a relative. I didn't say yell at them. I didn't say criticize them, but we're just trying to break down some things to give you some points to bring up and kind of tell the people that you're around. Even if you're at church, like Pastor said, or somewhere, at least have some facts about what you're talking about and get them motivated. Empowering new voters. That's what we just got through talking about.
Yes, sir.
Demystify it with tools and guidance. Provide sample ballots and candidate research tips. Remind them your vote equals your voice. Silence is a choice. It shouldn't be a choice. Because anytime anybody bring up Trump or something like that, or something about what he's doing, and you say, I don't like it, I'm not in favor of it or anything like that, and then you turn around and you see somebody get shot and shot down because they protesting or anything like that, and then you don't agree with that, well, that's because we need to put people in place. We should have voted for somebody. We should have voted for Kamala.
We needed
Then we
people,
wouldn't have this.
right,
Go ahead, Pastor.
we need people in a place that have integrity, represent the United States, not just trying to get money for themselves. And that's what Trump was trying to do, just get money for himself. And by hook or crook, he's doing that. And that's what we have a problem with.
To the tune of $11 billion. I heard the lady say it in a TikTok post. Just since he been in office. Now he might have been broke by all them court cases that he was going through before he got in office. But just think about it. We used to talk about millions of dollars, but just think about it. Trump and his family and got billions. His portion was just $11 billion, and he still want to take advantage of you.
Right.
We're gonna go on to the next one, Pastor. Drive action and urgency. I think Pastor said drive action with urgency.
Yes, sir.
What's your saying, Pastor?
Put your pedal to the metal and don't let up till we go through.
Early voting ends in 3 days. Seize your chance now. Counters work and are child care barriers effective. You know, sometimes we just got to come out of our shells and we got to go into a different direction altogether, Pastor. Yeah. Sometimes it may seem monotonous. It may seem like it doesn't matter. But it shouldn't only matter. And I'll give an example of this. It shouldn't only matter when you need the police. That you calling out a problem. You saying, well, I don't want the police to come. I don't want the police to come. They ain't doing nothing. They this and they that, and they got other things going on when they come into your area, or they writing tickets all the time. But it just so happened when you need them, who you gonna call?
Mm-hmm.
Who you gonna call?
911.
That's who they gonna call, Pastor?
They're gonna call the police.
Somebody going upside their head. Somebody that stole their property. Somebody ran off with their car that they got to go to work with. Who they gonna call?
They'll call the police.
So it's two sides to that sword. It's two sides to that sword, and I'm using these slides to kind of keep us on point because this is key. Voting is key in any state, anywhere that you are, is key. And that's we got to keep this up. We got to instill this. You got to go out and talk about it. You basically got to treat it like groceries. If you can't vote, if you don't eat, you ain't gonna be here.
Right.
Vote is just like that.
We don't vote. United States, we know it right now, won't be here no more.
And in case you're not paying attention to the news, gold is at its highest point it's ever been. Anything that's going on internationally is excelling in these times. And where that dollar was being represented, it ain't as strong as it used to be. Most people are trying to move the gold, and that's something for another show.
Yes.
Pastor, I don't know if you got a little bit of history on it, but everything seems like it's going right back to gold right now.
Yeah. The only difference is back then it was Anglo American men that owned land. Now we're all in this thing. And
Mhm.
they're outnumbered by the mere pure numbers. By the mere numbers, they're outnumbered. So it's about trying to hold on to power without going through nothing like that.
And if you out there and you buying gold, precious metals that are on the comeback, most of the countries outside of the U.S. are supporting the comeback of precious metals. That
Yeah.
way, they don't have to be dictated to by the U.S. The only power that the U.S. is holding right now is their military.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And even that's beginning to falter because it's being split up in so many different ways, and it's never been like this ever before in history.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just telling you, the power of gold is something, and voting helps to change that because if you had a person, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get you into this, Pastor.
Right.
If you had a person that represented the whole world, not just a fool that's in office that's representing himself,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be in this problem.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be in this situation. Recognize and reinforce power. Shout outs for early voting, early participants. Public thanks to voters celebrates their role in shaping the future, turning duty into personal empowerment. That's what we got to do.
Right.
We got to make our voice our vote, and that's all we've been talking about. You done heard me say it probably about how many times, Pastor? Probably about 50 times. Your
Mm-hmm.
voice is your vote, or your voice is not your vote. Your voice is not your vote. Your vote is your vote. If you don't get up, move, and go, you just wasted. You basically just running your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard somebody say, "Well, I could have, would have, should have."
Yeah.
That's what you're doing because you're not encouraging anybody else to get out and vote. And then at the end of it, if they challenge you and say, "Do you have a voter's registration card, a current?" Let me just say it like Byron would say it: a current voter's registration card.
Yeah.
Then you got a voice. If you still go out and cast your vote on that date, because I don't know about the pastor. Maybe my polling place is a little bit different than most people polling places, but I see more people that don't look like me than I do that look like me at my polling place.
Yeah.
So that in itself is representation. Pastor, I want you to take this last one, and I think that's where we're gonna end on this, and then we're gonna go into something else. If you have something else that you want to talk about,
Yes, sir.
um,
Bottom line, make your voice count. Frame voting as a personal power and not obligation. One, see the direct life impact to motivate action and change. So don't look at the obligation, look at it as a power move that you vote.
think about the people that died before you. We just had a recent holiday that just went past. Martin Luther King. He wasn't just out there trying to get you to protest what was going on. He was also trying to tell you that your vote counts. The
Yeah.
people that you put in office, the people that your elected officials. He wanted you to understand the whole concept. Even when he went to Selma, Alabama, about the bus riders, he wanted you to understand that you can impact things locally, but you have to vote. You have to vote to have representation. That's basically what him and Malcolm X was always saying. But at that time, it was a little bit different. Come on, Pastor.
Well, no, sir. I'm listening to you.
No, I was just saying at that time it was a little bit different time, and we didn't have we had just got into our ability to vote, and for our vote to be carried, for us to be recognized. But sometimes, it seems like we was just voting away our best interests. And
Mhm.
you hear Byron and Glass and myself talk about we are independents. Well, they're trying to take away that option too, Pastor. And like Byron said in Louisiana, you're a Republican or a Democrat. He's confused on since he's an independent on how he's supposed to, I guess, caucus.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to make I want to thank y'all for listening to us because I know this is when you're in school, Pastor. I know you have a better example of that when people don't want to listen to somebody that's talking. They don't want presentation.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want alignment, but they want to complain.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to sit there and they see you up at the board and they see what you're doing on the board and they want to do their own thing in the back of the classroom. They want to joke and play around and all the rest of that. And then when they get in life, they wonder how come they didn't achieve the status that they wanted in life. So I just, Pastor, I know we didn't cover a lot today on voting, but I hope that we touched, as Byron Glass said, we reached out and touched somebody, anybody, one person
Right.
that understood exactly what we was going through. So, Pastor, I've been talking for a while, and I can tell because my voice is changing a little bit. So I'm gonna let you chop it up for a little bit on what we chop it up, and okay. Let you expound on it and give a little bit of history at the same time about what we can do to try to change this thing.
Well, we're at a pivotal point in our history. Um, just last week, Trump began on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. They had everybody stripping. He's having everybody strip all the slave and civil rights history out of all the museums and stuff, saying it makes America look bad. America's been bad. America is bad under him. Uh, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on. In just a year's time, he's made so much bad decisions and so many bad uh, actions have happened. It'll take about 8 years sometimes to fix some of this stuff. Like say if you do get somebody that Gavin Newsom back in, they have to go back and re put up a lot of stuff, reopen up, re-engage in a lot of areas that this evil man has done. I'm not pulling any punches. He's evil. He's very evil. It's going to be very important to make that change. Ron, once again, his internet AT&T has threw him out of the show. I'm here. I'm the mic. The two gents are not here in this moment. Baron Glass is having electrical problems in the winter freeze storm in Louisiana. We keep him in our thoughts and our prayers, and hopefully that he'll maybe restored very soon. Say he does have a fireplace where he's at. Ron Spikes, who's the host and engineer of the show, all night tonight's been having AT&T problems. We're talking about the importance of voting for the midterm, importance of getting our ducks in a row for President Trump to be impeached. Timing is everything. I think they're trying to put this up ahead of time. The trick is to try to put this up ahead of time so they don't have enough votes in the Senate before the election and make it a moot point. But if you hold off and wait till we have this election, they're trying to take away the power of the election before the election. Trying to overrun the situation before the situation really becomes an issue. So what I'm saying is, come to November when we win the election and win the House and the Senate, then it'll be time to have an impeachment. I think they're trying to impeach ahead of time so that he will not win, he will not be put out in the Senate. They're making a moot point. We need timing is everything. Ron, we got that back, sir.
Yeah, I know. It took me out this time, and I got to figure out what's going on because it's either StreamYard or it's me going out. But
Yeah.
Pastor, go ahead and I think what we're gonna do tonight is since I'm having problems, I'd rather close out a good show
Yes, sir.
just a little bit early. And Pastor, I'm gonna give it to you and kind of let you close it out because I got to figure out what's going on in the background. And for our listeners that's out there, please remember to get out and vote. Early voting is coming up. Pick your candidate, and they're going to ask you to go back and vote right again, right in Harris County. So pick your candidate and go out and vote and make sure that you get your representation up. So, Pastor, with that being said, go ahead and I'm going to give it to you, and you kind of put us in a position where we're on our way out.
Let me ask you a question. You got any comments tonight?
I haven't had any comments that came on the board tonight. I put them up. I had them up earlier. I guess because we kept on losing power. If we had some, they didn't show up. So we had a like from Fred Burton. I see that out there on the air, and that was from Facebook Live. So Pastor, with everything that's going on, I can say that we haven't had any comments that was worth bringing to the air tonight.
All right. We're glad that you came on tonight for Two Gents in the Mic. And we're glad that we were able to once again remind you to motivate you, to press you, to prepare yourself. Primary voting, early voting, general election voting. And let's start the momentum, start the energizing for the impeachment of President Trump. That's what we need to do. There's a lot of stuff I sent you last week, Ron. Hopefully next week we can bring it up. It had to do a lot of the things Trump has done, things that are blatantly we need to address and attack over the next few months as we prepare for the midterm elections.
All right, just next week we're gonna set up the show based on that. That's what we're gonna do the show on.
Yes, sir.
The stuff that you sent, and I'll start pulling the videos and stuff and have it set up where we can run them next week.
And Baron Glass will be back, and that'll be good. Guys, we're glad to be on this platform. We thank God we're able to impact our community, our city, and our world. Tomorrow night, if you're able to come on to Facebook Live to Aquila Fennell Riggins page, 7:00 p.m. We're in Bible study. We'll be in Matthew the 4th.
If you're out there, just close this out, Pastor, because we're going off and on right now.
Yeah, Matthew the 4th chapter. And that'll be at 7:00 p.m. on Facebook Live. We'll thank God for this platform. Father, we give your name to praise. We leave this platform, but we don't leave your presence. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Thank God, thank God, thank God. And also, if you want to go out there and see Pastor Riggins in his rarest form, on his Sunday morning preaching, doing his job, his livelihood, go out there and look at the video that's out there on Pastor Riggins.
Yeah, you go out there, like Two Gents, go to Two Gents page. It's going to say King of Glory, United Covenant Church of God. This is what you're going to see on YouTube. Go to Two Gents YouTube, and it's a full service, about an hour. They're going to be about 30 minutes of a guy, Johnny B. Williams, a local gospel artist who's our praise and worship leader at our church, going to be singing. One of our pastors leading worship. About 30 minutes in, I get to preach for about 30 minutes. And when I preach, I just give God my best is all I try. Thank you.
I'm telling you, the man can preach. He can preach. He didn't do it. He told me, he said, Ron said, if I get into my hooping and hollering, just don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. I said, well, I didn't hear too much of it anyway, but he made his points, and he made a lot of he drove his point home, and that's what we want to see. And that musician, Johnny B, I'm gonna leave it right there. Go out there and check him out. Listen to him. He did pretty good with what we had to work with. So go out there and check him out, Pastor Riggins. With that being said, I'm gonna say good night, Pastor. I like the jumpsuit. I know Byron ain't coming out in no jumpsuit, so you don't even have to.
It's warm up. I got about 3 or 4 of these like this. When they say warm up to me, I don't just get a warm up like just to go work out in. I get a warm up you can wear around that looks something like a suit, but it's warm ups.
Yeah. I'm gonna challenge Byron. I'm gonna challenge Byron. See Byron, pants match, everything match.
Yeah, that whole little suit go together. Yeah.
I'm gonna challenge Byron next week. Let's see what you got. All right, y'all take care. We enjoyed you. I hope you learned something. I hope that you get out and vote, and I hope that you can encourage somebody else to get out and vote. With that being said, Pastor, we're gonna say good night.
Amen.